Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Reds here, host of the Raiders Report, and today's live show presented by Prize Picks. I know yesterday on the Raiders Report I said I wouldn't be going live today, but you know what? If you're looking for commitment to excellence every single day around the silver and black, I hope that you hit that subscribe button, because once I found out that Quay Walker, Jalen Nailor, and A.J. Cole are going to be speaking to the media after Raiders' mandatory minicamp day 2 practice, I said, you know what, F it. I'm going to go live. I'm going to hang out with Raider Nation, and depending on how this show goes today, I'm kind of wavering over the idea of pulling up tomorrow. I'm technically off, and it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow because it's being reported that it's not open to the media at all for Raiders practice tomorrow. However, I have been told that the Raiders are going to speak with Clint Kubiak after Raiders practice tomorrow. So I know I said it yesterday that I didn't know if I was going to be live today, and I didn't plan on going live today. I promise y'all this right now. I don't care if it's May, June, July. I don't care what's going on. If my wife gives me the okay and Raiders news is going on, I'm going to be live here, and I'm going to be hanging out with all of y'all today. So coming up here live on the Raiders Report, we're going to listen to those three pressers, and I want to know from all of y'all, who are you most excited to hear from today? Quay Walker, Type 7. A.J. Cole, Type 6. Jalen Nailor, Type 9. I'm going to give some shout-outs here on the show, and if you haven't already voted at the live poll, I personally would greatly appreciate it. Right now I see 51% Quay Walker, 44% Jalen Nailor, 5% of A.J. Cole, which, hey, A.J. is one of the best punters in the league, but, you know, Quay Walker's a new face. His buddy Nakobe Dean hasn't been around. I'm not going to lie to you. I know that we got a lot of Nakobe Dean questions yesterday. I'm actually hoping that somebody asks Quay Walker a Nakobe Dean question, because even though it doesn't sound like anybody's all that nervous, I want to be listening. Jalen Nailor at that wide receiver spot, I want to hear his chemistry with Fernando Mendoza, Kirk Cousins. I did hear that Nailor had himself a good practice today, again, based on the limited reports that have been coming in. But Zalesbo wants to hear from Jalen Nailor. Shav wants to hear from Jalen Nailor and Quay Walker. And I will say this, the Raiders have not yet scheduled this live show for the pressers. I don't know when the pressers are going to begin. Yesterday, they started right around like this time, so this is why I'm here live, kind of just hanging out with all y'all, waiting and listening. If anybody has any questions or comments, I hope that y'all already know, you can use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat, and I'll say this all the time. Like, I know that we're doing pressers today, and I got a bunch of different things to talk about with minicamp news that happened today, but these style of shows are so important for you guys to participate in. Using hashtag Raiders to get your questions on the show, using hashtag Raiders to get your comments on the show, because when you use hashtag Raiders, it tells our system, hey, put it up there on screen. If you don't want to use hashtag Raiders and you want to skip the line, then you send in a super chat like Isaac Hernandez throwing it up there. Though, if you see somebody throwing a 50 or a hundo piece during a presser, that's what I like to call a silent alley-oop and a silent bang. Did anybody watch the show Silent Library growing up? Did you watch the show Silent Library growing up? I feel like that's when MTV was at its ultimate, peak. You had Next, you had Pimp My Ride. Pimp My Ride was unbelievable. They're like, oh, your car doesn't run properly. You need new oil. You need gas. What if we put an Xbox in the trunk?
I feel like...
Let's X to the Z exhibit.
I feel like... what's the... I forget the exact name, but it's like the crib one. It's like
MTV Cribs.
Yeah.
They're like, here's my fridge.
Yep.
Though, what's crazy is, I bet you now, if you look back at what $1 million home was then compared to what $1 million home is now, it's obviously completely different. But we're going to be doing some different deals today. In fact, we're duck racing today, but it's going to be a $10 Venmo to get in the duck race. So if anybody wants to get in, I figured I'd switch it up here a little bit. We did a $20 yesterday. Today we're going to do a $10. So if you want to get in, $10 Venmo, Mitchell Rents 365. You can scan that QR code. If you are trying to get in, we gave away a little over $100 yesterday. I don't remember the exact number, but if you want to try to win some money today, hey, get it in. I didn't plan on going live today, so to me, today it's all gravy. We got the cherry on top. I'm excited to be able to hear what these guys have to say, and I'm excited to hear and see if we get any more, Raiders minicamp news out there. So our deals that we're doing today, If you want to get in the duck race, $10 Venmo, Mitchell Rents 365. If you want a chance to get in my fantasy football league, we will be doing a raffle in the month of June. Today, I think one of the best deals I got on here is the fantasy wheel spin. So if you want to get in 20, and we're going to give you a bunch of raffle tickets. I think when I looked today, it was like, okay, we have the number. I'm going to show you how many people have a golden ticket and how many people have just a fantasy raffle ticket. Obviously, the June Bang race, silent alley-oops are always fun for the pressers out there, but whoever bangs the most, either today or you get the most XP, you're going to get yourself a golden ticket. And then also on top of that, whoever bangs the most today or this month, you're going to get in my fantasy football league. So I got some more news that we're going to get into here in a little bit around Raiders minicamp practice. Before I do, though, shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app out there. And I saw some people talking about this before I went live, and they were talking about the Spurs. They were talking about the Knicks game, and I know I'm going to be watching this game. I am debating whether I should take the Spurs to win or should I take the New York Knicks for Game 4? If you plan on watching the basketball finals game tonight, let me know down below who you got. And if you don't already know, use code HMA to get $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup over on Prize Picks. And one of the things that they have over there is they have team picks. Like the other night, I was with my wife, Alex, and I go, hey, you want to get a Prize Picks lineup in? And she was like, well, I don't really know who to pick for basketball. And I go, well, how about we just pick the winner, Spurs or Knicks? Not going to lie, she did pick the Knicks, but that's because Marsh was at the game. Marsh was in our wedding, so she was like rooting for the Knicks because of Marsh. Though me, I was kind of rooting for the Spurs because I want this to go a little bit longer. So you could pick winners, you could pick spreads, you could pick totals over on Prize Picks. I can even show you what I did last night when I was watching the hockey game. Again, to me, I'm just trying out different stuff as a sports fan. I just want to be able to watch games and have fun while I do it. Am I rooting for the Knights? Yes, I am. But when I watch a hockey game, I want goals. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I want to see some pucks hit in the back of the net. And luckily, we've kind of gotten that every single game for the hockey playoffs. So I took the more on goals here. I won this one. Another lineup that I did not win, but it was electric. It's who scores the first goal. So I took Mitch Marner. He's the leading goal scorer, leading point scorer in the play or for the Golden Knights right now. And I believe in the Stanley Cup, obviously he didn't score, and this ended quickly because the Hurricanes had like 2 goals before I even blinked and started watching that game. But again, man, I know the Raiders aren't playing right now, but in sports, when you got hockey and basketball finals, get a flipping lineup in. So I'm going to put that link for you guys down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. Make sure that you use code HMA to get $50 in lineups instantly after you play your first $5 lineup on Prize Picks, where it feels good to be right. What's going on to all y'all that are out there? I am about to get into probably just breaking down some Raiders minicamp news that happened today. I'll just kind of roll through some of the important notes that I do think are notable that need to be seen. What I just sent you, you'll put that to the end of the show. Our June Bang Race leaderboard right now, Isaac Hernandez, who's got the alley-oop right now up on the screen. I don't know who's going to be the mother effer that ends up throwing it down. He's right now leading our June Bang Race, followed by Brandon B. Bayou Raider, Raider Ron, David Zahn is how it all ends up falling in. And then I just saw my guy Preston Rodriguez, who Preston did some legendary shit yesterday on the Raiders Report. Really did, man. He did some really cool things. Also, I'm just going to send you another one because that's what I was talking about, what I'm looking for. Once those are built, I'd say let's rip it. Cool. All right, y'all. So coming up here on the show, I'm going to get into all of the major Raiders minicamp news that I think is important to see. I think it's important to hear about. And then we're going to just be breaking it all down. I would say I have close to 20-ish notes from today's practice that I'll kind of get into. And then the moment, and I mean the moment that these players take the podium, if I'm in the middle of breaking down my Raiders minicamp news today, we're going to flush the minicamp news, and we will go right to the pressers. So if you want to be able to watch pressers going forward, I think one of the things that I really wanted to be able to do, and again, my job here at Chat Sports, at the Raiders Report, is to just try to keep Raider Nation informed and entertained. And I hope that I do a halfway decent job of doing that. Obviously, I have my own sources. Obviously, I'm not at Raiders practice, so I'm really depending on Ryan McFadden, Sam Warden, Q's been at practice. A lot of the guys that are actually in there in the building, they've been doing a good job, I would say, reporting on what's been happening, because I have a few people that I talk to. I'm always honest with y'all, and with new regimes that come in every single year, this year's been a little bit more of a difficult year for me in terms of just being able to find people that I trust, that I also know that I can depend on to get information in. Now, one of the guys that I still talk to on a weekly basis, he's been there for a while. He's at every Raiders practice, so I'll get some stuff from him from time to time. But also, it does look like the Raiders have just started their presser. And it looks like, actually, I did not know Joe DeCamillis, the Raiders special teams coordinator, did not know that he was going to be speaking with us, and he's actually the very first person up speaking right now to the Raiders media. Joe DeCamillis is going to talk for a little bit, and then I would say probably 30 minutes after that, you'll hear from some of the players. So we're going to get ready. We're going to kick it on over to Raiders special teams coordinator Joe DeCamillis.
He's different position, but he's a Swiss Army knife like our friend Mike Furry. Just sticks in the league. Will you talk about Dylan and how you see him evolving in your scheme?
Yeah, how do you know Mike Furry, by the way? He's the best, man. I love him. Make sure you tell him I said hello. Yeah, awesome. No, I think he's done a great job throughout the OTAs. He's another one that really, really sharp, gets the game, and he knows the way he's going to make it is by the more he can do. And he's accentuated that all the way through camp, and I really like him so far. Obviously OTAs, we haven't put any pads on or any of that stuff, so you'll find out more as we go through it. But really like the kid so far for sure, and I think he's going to be a good player for us.
What's it been like watching the two kickers compete, the veteran Matt Gay and the rookie? What's it been like watching them go at it?
Well, first of all, I think when they came in, the good thing about having Matt, I've been with him before, and Matt's really helped Special K quite a bit. He's done a good job as far as getting him squared away with some of his technique and some of that, which is great for an older guy to be able to do, especially when you're competing for the job. But, the competition's been good. Hopefully we can get Matt back on the same plane that he was when I had him in L.A., and I think Special K is going to be really good too down the road. So it should be a hell of a competition.
I'm going to stick with Special K as well. I'll go here on the name, but he was late to the game and late to the technique and everything that goes into being a kicker. Have you ever worked with somebody that's kind of this new at this level, kind of learning on the fly?
Yeah, it's hard to say, that I've ever had anybody like him. I've had a guy named Jay Feely who, he was getting ready to get out of it, went to a camp, and he ended up, kicking for about 14 more years after that. So it was kind of a different story, but, more self-taught. But this guy's done a great job in college. Like, you had film to watch. It wasn't like he just came off the street and, he's one of those tryout guys that never kicked. I mean, he had great film in college to watch, and, I think it's going to be a heck of a story, and hopefully he's able to compete with Matt, and we pick the best guy.
On that, with regards to the competition, is it as black and white as who just makes more kicks, who's more accurate, or are there other variables you're looking for that spot?
Other variables. I mean, I think a lot of it, you want to see him like today. We try to put him in some pressure situations. You want to try to get as many of those as you can, because obviously end of the game kicks are more important than end of the game, end of the half kicks are more important than just the normal ball for sure. So they have to be able to do both. But, there's a lot of things that go into play with all that stuff. I think the biggest thing that when you get a kicker and he's able to operate at a high level is because he's got a high operation level. Like the snapper and the holder are elite. And that's the first thing that we got to make sure that we bring both of those guys every time.
About Matsuzawa's story before you guys signed him, whereas did you learn most of it after you?
Yeah, I mean, when you go through all the draft process and all that stuff, you learn about it and talk to him. Marquise, who is with us, he'll be one of our guys that's helping. He tore his Achilles during spring, but he'll be back here pretty soon. But anyway, he had known his agent, and then we got in touch with his agent and kept going from there. And it was very helpful to have that information from him. But then as you start watching the film, we had a pretty good feel for what he was and how he's done things.
We know it's early in the process, but when you're out there coaching, we see the attention to detail that you're putting into it. How have you felt the players have reciprocated that and taken that in?
I think they've responded well. The one thing that I've noticed about this group that's impressive to me is their capacity for work. Like when they work and they roll. But like you said, the details are the things that are going to make us to where we want to get to. We can't be a team that just gives effort. In my opinion, like in the NFL, that should be part of your contract. When they say effort, you shouldn't have to coach effort. If you do, then it should be a breach of contract, in my opinion. That's something that, you know, everybody should put out. And these kids have done that, and they've really shown a really, really good capacity to work so far.
What does Alubi add to your units?
He's a difference maker type guy. You know, he's blocked punts in the league. He obviously had one against the Raiders last year. He's a guy that is twitchy. He's a guy that has already shown what he can do on the field, and he's brought a lot to the group for us already. So it's going to be good to coach him. I'm excited we have him.
Coach, early in the year, but the leadership you're seeing from Cousins and Crosby, so many leaders out there. What has impressed you so far?
Well, I mean, he's a unicorn, man. I mean, you just don't see him like that. I mean, you know, I know the trade thing. Everybody's always talked about that. I'm glad it didn't go through. I can tell you that much because I love the guy. I think he's one of the guys that you know, you're proud to be around for sure. He's got an unbelievable love of the game, and he's got an unbelievable passion for work, which I think will carry on to these other guys. And then Kirk, I told him the other day, I said, I love the way you ball, man, because he's a guy that, you know, you watch around the league and you don't really, unless you've worked with him, you don't know what kind of guy he is, and he's exactly what you're looking for. No question why he's been as good as he's been. Anybody else? Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
I mean, kind of short and sweet. I'll tell you this right now. I actually had the privilege when I was at the NFL Combine to talk to several players from South Carolina. Brandon Cisse was one of those guys. And I had the privilege to talk to those dudes about Joe DeCamillis. Oh, wait. We're getting right into it. Back to another one. But basically, they said they love what he brought.
Yeah, I think, well,
back?
the first thing about it is that
Joe's back.
it was a blast to do what I did for the last 3 years.
All right,
you know, I mean,
fuck
if it wasn't Coob, like I was asked that question, if it wasn't Coob, I don't know that I would have left, to be honest with you. But you can affect kids in college from a man standpoint, right? You really can help them along. Not that you can't hear, but they're at a different age. But basically in college, you know, from a developmental standpoint, you can do so much more from a standpoint of pads and all that kind of stuff with them. So developing the football player is probably easier in college actually than it is here. But the other side of it is after being here is the level of attention to detail and all those things is much higher here than it is in college. It's just harder to do it with as many people as you do. But I loved both of them, and I'm glad to be here for sure.
Reps.
You know, the same type of thing, the walkthroughs and stuff like that. You know, you have to be creative with your meetings because of the fact that you don't get as much time in college. You know, the 20-hour rule is real, and you've got to adhere to that. So you have to create some meetings and create some things that they can learn with. But it was fun. It was good to do, but I'm glad I'm back, like I said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, why even do that then? Like, keep them there for more questions. You're telling me there's no other guys that could ask a few questions to Joe DeCamillis again. So what I was saying is when I went to the NFL Combine, I had the privilege to talk to a few South Carolina players, and Joe DeCamillis was the South Carolina special teams coordinator last season. And every single one of the guys, when I would ask a question about him, there was an instant grin. There was an instant smile. And there was like an instant like, yeah, that guy's going to really fire you the F up because he's somebody that just wants you to work. And, you know, you kind of heard Joe DeCamillis say like, hey, man, if it wasn't for Kubiak, I don't know if I would have came here to the Las Vegas Raiders. And I love the statement that he said where he's like, you know, you shouldn't have to teach effort. Effort should be something in a contract. And I agree. Like, if you're not participating and you're not giving effort at the NFL level, I think that should be absolutely a potential breach of contract. You're talking about players making millions upon millions of dollars, and I get it. There's a reason why they're making a lot of money. It's an entertainment at the end of the day. But, man, oh, man, I loved what I just heard there from Joe DeCamillis. And if you agree with that, let me know down below. How do y'all feel after that presser from Raiders special teams coordinator Joe DeCamillis. He called Tokyo To Kansai Matsuzawa Special K. So, I mean, that's just another nickname to be able to add to it. I also like the fact that he said that, the kicker competition, yes, it's important, and it's not just going to come down to just who makes the most kicks, but he did say that, he's got a familiarity with Matt Gay. If you do not know, Matt Gay was with Joe DeCamillis with the Los Angeles Rams from 2021 to 2022, and I do think it's important, for the entire unit to vibe well. The snapper, the holder, the kicker, it's all got to work. And for the Raiders, they got a snapper battle right now between Alex Dzansky, who's a UDFA from Penn State, going up against Alex Ward, who's been with the Los Angeles Rams the past 3 seasons, though no overlap with Joe DeCamillis at all. And then also on top of that, the holder has been predominantly A.J. Cole, but that's also a kind of a new role for him because he was holding for Daniel Carlson. I've never been a holder in the NFL. Do I think that maybe there's much difference between holding for different kickers? I would imagine no, but still, when you really come down to special teams, I think a lot of it comes down to that 1%, getting 1% better, and I would imagine that A.J. Cole might be a 1% better holder for Daniel Carlson than he is for anybody on this roster just because of the chemistry and the familiarity that they both have. So we are going to be waiting and listening for Quay Walker, Jalen Nailor, and A.J. Cole to all speak to the media. Typically the way that these pressers have gone this offseason is a coach has talked, and then after a coach has talked, it's taken about 30-ish minutes or so for the players to show up. They got to get cleaned up. They were the ones out there sweating and practicing, though. I bet you Joe DeCamillis is out there sweating as you know what off, too. That guy brings the energy every single freaking day, man. Every single day. That comment, from my opinion, dude. I hate that I even laughed at that, but I hate that I even laughed at that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to run through all the Raiders' mandatory minicamp practice news from day 2, and then as soon as I am done with that, I'm going to be answering questions. So if anybody has any questions or comments, hashtag Raiders or Super Chat to skip the line, and I'll say it again. On these style of shows, I am really depending on Raider Nation to get those questions in. It helps the show keep it flowing, and it helps me want to stay live and be live a lot longer. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. So we're going to roll through the mandatory minicamp practice news from day 2 today, and then we will hear from the 3 players, though I will say this. If I am in the middle of this show and one of the players takes the podium, I am just going to cut it off right in the middle, and we will go to that presser with this Raiders player. So coming up, let's talk about the mandatory minicamp practice news from day 2 at Raiders practice. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Reds here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on the program, everything that you need to know from Raiders mandatory minicamp practice from day 2. If you don't know, today's show is presented by our good friends over at Prize Picks, and I am going to be getting a lineup in for tonight's game. Knicks Spurs, if you want to let me know who you got off the jump, let me know who you got off the jump. So first thing that I really want to talk about from practice today was that we found out that today's actually the last practice open up to the media. I know that Clint Kubiak is going to be speaking tomorrow with the local media. If he's speaking again tomorrow, I would like to be live on this show, though I am technically off tomorrow. I got a wedding, so just keep that in mind a little bit. If we do get any information, you already know. I will keep you guys up to date. Let's go to Max Crosby. He led stretches yet again today. He did not practice, but I did speak to a source close to Max yesterday, and they were just telling me that he's trending in the right direction. He's getting closer and closer. There are some people that wonder that if training camp, let's say, the person that I spoke to yesterday told me that they wonder if training camp would be at the end of June, if Max would have been able to practice at the end of June. He's getting close. I would say 99.9% chance Max Crosby is ready to rock and roll for training camp. Let's go to the next thing here. A lot of people are asking, wondering about Nakobe Dean. I am going to be really curious to see what Quay Walker has to say today at the live pressers, because I am obviously recording this before Quay Walker speaks to the media. But Nakobe Dean and Walker, those guys are very close. They were talking throughout the entire offseason process, and I understand that everyone's telling me, hey, we're not worried about it, we're not worried about it, we're not worried about it. I'm not really worried about it either, but it's like that anything. If you don't know, you're kind of wondering. It'd be like if I tell my wife, hey, I got a surprise for you. Is it a big deal? No, but she wants to know. Just like I kind of want to know what's going on with Nakobe Dean. And if you guys want to know what's going on around the Raiders, hit that subscribe button. And if you're looking for commitment to excellence for the nation, I promise you, you're not going to find anybody on planet Earth that's ever going to outwork me. And to prove it, I'm always doing my best to keep you guys up to date. I'm actually off tomorrow. I got a flight for my wedding, but I'm coming into work anyway. Clint Kubiak speaks to the media. I plan on being live for this show. And if you want more commitment to excellence, like hearing what Joe DiCamilla said at the presser, where he thinks that earning effort should be in the contract, that if you're not giving 110%, that's a breach of contract. If you feel the same way, hit that sub button. Let's go to Jermod McCoy. He did not practice today. I am just going to guess that because this is a mandatory time, yes, they want to get guys in the building. Yes, they want to see how they are. But for Jermod McCoy and Nakobe Dean, the two only players that did not participate in practice today, I think it's health, but I think they're just playing it safe. Rather be safe than sorry. Also, Jackson Powers-Johnson did do individual drills today, which is a good thing. I know that yesterday he did not participate in the team portion of practice, but seeing him out there in individual drills, he looks healthy to me. He's out there, he's hitting people. Anytime I don't see JPJ out there on the offensive line because he's had some health issues, I'm always wondering what exactly is going on. But I'll tell you this, based on some of the videos, based on the reports, I thought JPJ looked pretty healthy today, and he was doing individual drills. We got some more notes coming up here from Minicamp in just a moment. But if you don't know, Prize Picks is today's presenting sponsor. And if you don't know that I can get you $50 in lineups over on Prize Picks, you probably have never seen this show before. Use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And I need y'all's help because I make a lot of lineups in my day. And one of the lineups that me and Reed are cooking up right now, I got the less on Josh Hart, the more on Steven Castle, which that's actually happened like 9 straight games. Victor Wembanyama is the Taco Tuesday at 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So my question to you is, because Reed and I were debating about it, we're like, what the hell do we do with Jalen Brunson? Like, to me, if I'm going to watch a game, I'm going to watch the guy and root for a guy that I know is going to touch the basketball the most in this game. Do we all agree Jalen Brunson's going to touch the ball the most in this game? So what do you guys think Reed and I should do? Do we go more or do we go less than 27.5 points for Jalen Brunson? Type more, type less, and if you know ball, you can prove it over on Prize Picks, where it feels good to be right. Code HMA, $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. I mean, the Knicks just dropped Game 3. You got Game 4 at Madison Square Garden. However, I think you got to be able to tip your cap a little bit to San Antonio because they've done a good job slowing up Jalen Brunson. I know he's had some big moments, but he's also put up tons and tons of shots. And if you want to put a lineup in about who you think is going to win the game, Knicks or Spurs, team picks are available on Prize Picks. Heck, I put a lineup in for the hockey game yesterday, but team picks are now available on Prize Picks. Use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Let's keep it moving here on the show. Caleb Rogers continues to impress. I spoke to somebody today that was at practice, and I was just kind of like, hey, talk to me about Caleb Rogers. How's he doing? He stepped up yesterday for the injured Jackson Powers-Johnson, was getting a lot of those first-team right guard reps. And the person that I spoke with today said Caleb Rogers is continuously impressing on the field, but he's also really impressing off the field. He's in better shape. He looks stronger. He looks more technically sound. He's got it up here, and guys love him. Guys absolutely love Caleb Rogers. He is a glowing light. I've had people tell me that he smiles all the time, and he makes everybody else around him a lot better. Jordan Meredith is continuously getting work at the center position, and I think that this is important because I've said that Meredith to me is the number one offensive lineman. If a trade were to happen, watch out for Meredith potentially getting dealt. But the Raiders do love his flexibility, and I love his flexibility, which there's probably a pause in there, right? He can play left guard, he can play center, he can play right guard. He offers you a lot of that. And I think because the Raiders have done certain things, and you're seeing Caleb Rogers showcase the talent at guard, you're seeing Spencer Burford, Trey Zune's been getting some guard and outside tackle reps as well. I personally think that Meredith could be the backup center. Now, maybe it could end up still being JPJ if anything, God forbid, were to happen to Linderbaum. But let's not totally forget about Jordan Meredith here. I saw a report from, I believe it was Sam Warren, that the Raiders were doing more work today than they typically have been at a shotgun. A lot of the conversations in regards to the quarterbacks has been Fernando Mendoza, under center, Clint Kubiak, under center. And I saw one of the craziest quarterback stats that I've seen in a long time. I'm going to share it for you guys next week on the Raiders Report. But Kubiak, they obviously got to get the system going, but a lot more shotgun work today for everyone, especially Fernando Mendoza. Kirk Cousins was more vocal today. You kind of heard Cousins yesterday at the presser say that he talked to Peyton Manning and trying to understand what it was like for Manning when he went from Indianapolis to Denver, and that Cousins was trying to learn what it was like to go from essentially like Minnesota to Atlanta, now gets another destination. But Cousins today was much more vocal, and you can tell he's going to have a C on his chest. He's the quarterback of this team right now. Michael Mayer, I was told that his blocking is improving, which to me is like probably the number one thing that I think about when I think about Michael Mayer. Like, yes, I want him to be in the right headspace. I know that we have Brock Bowers, but we're going to play a lot of 12 personnel. And I think to get the best version out of Michael Mayer, to get the biggest impact out of him, he's got to be able to show that he can improve blocking. So the person that I spoke with today told me that they felt like Michael Mayer's blocking is showing that it's improving. So I'm looking for an answer, because maybe Michael Mayer is an answer there. But I want to know a player that you find yourself rooting for at minicamp. Is there a player, offense, defense, that when there's a report that comes out, you're looking for him? I'm going to give you somebody that I'm rooting for coming up here right after this YouTube ad break. One player that I find myself really, really rooting for this offseason is Cody Lindenberg, who had himself a hell of a day yesterday at practice. And I say that because I know the Lindenberg family is a big supporter of the Raiders Report show here. I've talked to a few of those family members out there. But Cody Lindenberg is somebody that I find myself rooting for because of the conversations that I've had. So he's definitely somebody that I'm rooting for. And then from a UDFA standpoint, just because I know some people around him and I met him, Roman Hemby. Though, sounds like Dylan Laube is really kind of grabbing a hold of that position, and I need to pay closer attention to that running back battle. Speaking of the running backs, Ashton Genty looks incredible. He runs hard. He's physical. He's setting the tone. He's exactly what you want Ashton Genty to be. Jalen Nailor, I was told today, had himself a solid day, and you're actually going to be hearing from him in a little bit. I am live here on the Raiders Report. Well, who knows if we'll get through everything in time. Mendoza, the chemistry continues to grow with him, and it's not just about receivers, tight ends. It's also the offensive lineman. It's also the center. He's getting more and more familiar with what the Raiders are throwing at him. Watch out for Shedrick Jackson. The guy that I talked to today told me, watch out for Shedrick Jackson. He was probably the number one star from yesterday's practice, according to Levi Edwards. Now, I know Levi was really hyping him up, and don't get me wrong, it was also reported that he had a good practice, but just keep an eye out for him. He is a legit player that could end up making this roster. I want people to realize that Dante Thornton Jr. and Shedrick Jackson should be in the same conversation. Honestly, him and Derek Young should all be in that same conversation, though Derek will make this team because of special teams. And then we will be here, obviously, breaking down Jalen Nailor, A.J. Cole, Quay Walker, all that stuff from the presser. I'm live here on the show. Some other notes that came in from Sam Warren. Nakobe Dean, Jermod McCoy, miss again. Lots of starters got rest in team drills, including Kirk Cousins. Was out for most periods, so that's very interesting. Because of that, I was going to say, Fernando Mendoza, Aiden O'Connell, both got reps with the first team. Extremely interesting there, and I think that that's kind of foreshadowing a little bit of why they're maybe getting a day off tomorrow. JPJ back in team drills and worked with the first team. Love hearing that from Sam. Quay Walker, Jeremy Chin, and Taron Johnson are being used in versatile roles. Good to hear. Cody Lindenberg continue to work with first team with Nakobe absent, and that's a guy that's really showcasing a lot of his talent. And then Zeke Massis, who the Raiders drafted in the 5th round, got more first-team reps. Him and Darian Porter split first-team reps yesterday, so he got more first-team reps today. From Ryan McFadden, Mendoza, O'Connell, again, I heard more shotgun reps, so that ends up checking out there. I'm just trying to compare between what McFadden and Warren ended up reporting. Mendoza and AOC went up against some of the projected first-team defensive players. Love hearing that. Both quarterbacks were fairly inconsistent. Mendoza's accuracy wasn't on point compared to yesterday. He also would have been sacked twice by Malcolm Kuntz and J.J. Pagee, so I like hearing some stuff there on Kuntz and J.J. AOC was picked off by rookie safety Dalton Johnson out of Arizona on a deep ball to Philip Dorsett. Johnson might have gotten away with defensive holding, and then JPJ was participating in 11-on-11 after being absent from this part of practice yesterday. Shout out to Ryan McFadden. Shout out to Sam Warren, who's been doing a great job covering the Las Vegas Raiders. And if anybody out there wants to know my live schedule, here's my best projection of when I'm going to be live. I am going to a wedding, but I am going to be off tomorrow, but I'm still planning on being live for the Clint Kubiak presser. So hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. And I might be live for Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals if it gets to that point. But if you want to see my Madden simulations, I got Jets, 49ers when I get back from my trip. Live happy hour on that Friday as well. If you bleed silver and black, I expect to see you right here on the Raiders Report. All right, y'all, who are you more excited to hear from? I am going to be guessing that we should be hearing from Quay, A.J. Cool, or Jalen Nailor relatively soon. I would hope that we be hearing from these guys relatively soon. Luda said, hell yeah, let's get it going already. I mean, you know, I would imagine that after practice, again, they're just trying to get everything together. But the way that the timing has worked out, it's been about 30 to 45 minutes after the first coaches talked, and then the players come in. And then once the players start talking, it's one after another after another. I will say this is the final Super Chat that I see right now. If you want me to stay live longer after the pressers, I need more questions. Hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. Hey, Mitch, is that email received exactly how it needs to be written out? I question because I see two addresses. So shout out to Preston Rodriguez. Preston yesterday said that he's going to donate a Brock Bowers signed helmet, and he's going to donate it to Save a Warrior, which I thought was unbelievable, and I'm just trying to get some of the contact information. In terms of what you might need, I might have to look again in our DMs, though I'm looking right now. What I sent you should be good. What I sent you should be good. I would say put it on the label is exactly like that, because I sent you our address, the street. However I sent it, Preston, is how you should do it. I got you, bro. I got you. But again, dude, shout out to you. LA Crash Dog told me he was super humbled. And if anybody out there wants to go to saveawarrior.org/donate, make sure you tell them that Father Tom sent you. So make sure Father Tom sent you. All right, y'all, we are waiting to hear from Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, and A.J. Cole. Though by the looks of it, it looks like a lot of y'all are kind of excited the most to hear from Quay Walker. I did see somebody ask me, what are we standing at right now in the duck race? If you don't know, it is a $10 Super Chat or $10 Venmo today to get in our duck race. The last time that I checked, it would have been 10 to win, $40. However, that is now much different. Richard Magbull is now just really amped up this pot here a little bit. It is now a $10 Venmo to win nope, that's a lie, to win $70 on the show. $70 on the show as it stands right now. If you're trying to get in my fantasy football league, we're giving out raffle tickets all off season long. $20 to get a ton of tickets today. If you're trying to finish off the alley-oop from Isaac Hernandez, somebody's got to throw down that 50. If you want to compete in our June bang competition, whoever bangs the most this month, you will get in to my fantasy football league. And whoever the MVP of today's show is, I'm going to give you a golden ticket to get in. And if you're wondering what's the difference between a fantasy, we'll call them a regular ticket, and a golden ticket, I actually have the amounts of the totals of how many tickets that we have out right now. So as it stands right now, we have 109 regular tickets for the fantasy league. We have 14 golden tickets. So obviously, we're going to have a lot more regular tickets than golden tickets. And if you get a golden ticket, you got a better chance to get in. It's kind of like Willy Wonka's factory. It's kind of how I'm just going to say it, and I'll throw it out there. All right, I see one hashtag Raiders from Shav. Mitch, this year's WWE SummerSlam, can you do a WWE SummerSlam Night 1, Night 2 watch party? It's funny you bring that up, dude. We've had some years past of some guys that have asked us to do it, and 2 years ago is probably when Chugs and I would talk the most about WWE. It's actually why, shout out to Taino, I don't know if he's here, sent us this WWE belt, and we use it for our turnover belt now on this show. I'll say this. I am not a fan of WWE. I also think it's really bad right now. Like, I think that they're just trying to do
I don't follow
too much.
it. I don't follow it at all.
Yeah.
I used to follow it when I was like 8.
Same.
And then I grew out of it, but it's still cool. Like, it's like the everyone like jumping around, like fighting each other is cool, but like
I would say I would want to go to a WWE event to say that I've been to one.
yeah.
But truly, for me to sit down and watch a WWE event, there literally has to be nothing else going on. And yeah, to me, if I'm gonna go live for something,
It's like a live TV show about wrestling.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. So it's like, if you like that, then yeah. That doesn't interest me. I think my favorite was always Kofi Kingston. He just retired recently, but I used to play the WWE game.
Yeah.
Growing up, EA Sports. It may have been EA Sports, but it was like in like 2011 or something, like WWE Raw or something on Xbox 360.
Oh, see, I had it.
It was awesome.
I had it on N64.
Really?
I had N64, and I remember the best. It was The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H were the top 3 people.
That's electric
in that game. But I had it for N64. I'm not big on the wrestling. Truthfully, if I ever did a wrestling show, it would be Chugs and I have talked about this in the past.
With Jello.
Well, yeah. I promise. We've had the Jello since Kenyon Drake signed with the Raiders. That's how long that's been there. I would say if I were to do anything wrestling related, a fun show that I've often thought about doing in the middle of July is a Raiders Report Royal Rumble. Hear me out. We do Madden Sims. Imagine if we did a Royal Rumble sim and you could buy a person in the game. So you buy the person in a game, we run the Royal Rumble sim. Whoever wins the Raiders Report Royal Rumble, you get the money.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
I thought about like that for an idea because to me, I'm not going to be invested in any particular WWE wrestler. But if I had money on the line, I don't know, then I might be a little bit more invested. Now, again, I don't know how Royal Rumbles work.
I was going to say, because some people
be
start in the ring already. I think there's like a seeding of it.
Yeah.
Like the people are already in the ring. The people who are already in the ring are going to get tired.
Probably.
Right?
I would imagine.
So whoever comes in last, comes into the ring last, has a chance to win the whole thing because they're fresh.
Big Raz. WWE watch party would be fun. I think, the only way I would do it is I think if we had some sort of Royal Rumble and if people bought, I don't know, you're like, I want to be this guy. Cassidy, Mitch, I got back from Las Vegas, saw A's Brewers. Wow. I mean, hopefully you had fun. I mean, I've been talking to, he was the first-round pick for the Milwaukee Brewers last year. His name is Blake Burke. He's the Tennessee Volunteers all-time home run leader, and he's been absolutely crushing it. I don't know if he's leading Double-A baseball right now in home runs, but I know he's pretty damn close. I think here in the next few years, you're going to see a guy by the name of Blake Burke. He's a diehard Raiders fan. That's how I'm talking about him. And him and we were talking even before he went to Tennessee. That's how long ago he was watching this show. And I root for the Brewers now because of him, but I also really actually root for the A's too. I don't know how many people know this, but my old travel coach, R.I.P., the great Jeff Bittiger, I played for Lehigh Valley Baseball Academy, and our coach at the time, his name is Jeff Bittiger. Our other coach name was Dylan Dando. He's still doing it. Dando's a tough mother effer, I'll tell you that. He's like Joe DeCamillis. And I bring that up because Jeff Bittiger, unfortunately, he did just pass away, but he was actually named MLB Scout of the Year. I think he was the one that found Sonny Gray for the Oakland Athletics, but he was also the roommate with Billy Beane when Billy Beane and Jeff were roommates together when they were first coming up with the New York Mets. But I used to hear a lot of really cool stories. So I don't know. You mentioned those two teams. Those are two teams that I do find myself rooting for personal reasons. I'm not going to lie to you, but Jeff's son Brett, I played travel ball with him, and Brett and my cousin Anthony are actually now co-owners, co-presidents of the Fargo Redhawks. So if anybody's ever in North Dakota, you want to watch some baseball, Fargo Redhawks. If you guys ever see the Fargo Redhawks in your area, my cousin is one of the coaches there. And go say hi, go say what's up. Though he just found out he's having twins, so he's going to be a pretty busy guy. Pretty busy guy. All right, y'all, hashtag Raiders. Get those questions in. I still don't see any players yet up here on the podium, and I'll say this right now. Like, I know that what we show is what the Raiders YouTube channel shows, but I hope that the reason why people watch this program over the Raiders pressers is, one, a comment section that's not a cesspool, and then number two, like, you could be on the Raiders main YouTube channel right now just waiting, and you would have been waiting there watching the Spinning Shield. If you don't want to watch the Spinning Shield and still get some actual Raiders content and some random WWE or whatever the hell you guys are talking about and want us to talk about, we're going to do that in between the pressers. Pressers are something that I would like to be able to do more and more often, and if it's something that interests you guys, participating in shows is a great way to be able to see it. Angela Sherlock, I see you are in the duck race as well. 10 to win. $75 as it stands right now. Rube Rickard? Is there any news on Kansai Matsuzawa, Special K? Really want to see him win the battle, not big on Matt Gay. I mean, I know Gay struggled last season, and he did. He was like probably right around 73% field goal percentage. Kansai was about 93%. Also became, I think, the first kicker in college football history since 1980 to make, I want to say it was 25 straight kicks, but he's shown that he can be really good. In terms of, is there any news on Kansai Matsuzawa or Matt Gay? No. And I'll say it like this. In the years of experience that I have covering the Raiders and covering the NFL, this is, I guess, my 9th year doing it, not hearing anything on the kickers, I actually think is a good thing. Like truthfully, and don't get me wrong, man, like, I want to hear about everyone. And I know that anybody that's watching this show right now wants to hear about literally anything and anyone. But in my years of doing it, typically when you don't hear about special teams now, that's a good thing. Because the only time you really hear about special teams at this time of the offseason is if it's a disaster. And that's just the truth. Like, do I have any information on how Matt Gay or Kansai Matsuzawa are doing? No, I do not. But I also do really believe that there's not really going, like, nobody's going to win the battle now. Like truthfully, if the Raiders told me, hey, we're going to go with Matt Gay because of what he did in May and June, I'd go, that's a poor coaching decision. If Clint Kubiak took the podium tomorrow and he goes, we're going to go with Kansai Matsuzawa, Special K the Tokyo Toe, over Matt Gay because of what we've seen this offseason, again, I would say, like, that's a poor decision. You should wait and see what they do in training camp, and I think most importantly, what they do in the preseason. Like, and I know preseason games, there's often times where, do I want to win games? Of course I do. Like, I already know how I'm going to be. It's going to be week 3 of the Raiders preseason game up against the 49ers. F the 49ers every chance that I get. I'm going to want the Raiders to win that football game. But there's also a part of me that goes, what's more valuable? Us trying to win that game, or maybe the Raiders that day go, I want to try to get 2 field goals for Kansai, and I want to try to get 2 field goals for Matt Gay. Like, what if that's something that they try to do? Like, instead of going for it on a situation where, you know what, they probably would go for it on 4th down and 1. They go, you know what, we're going to trot out the kicker, and we're going to see who can make this field goal here. Like, I care way more about what a guy does in a game compared to what a guy does in practice every single day of the week and twice again on Sunday, and I'm sure Joe DeCamillis does. But I do think that Matt Gay has the advantage because of the relationship with Joe DeCamillis. So my question to all y'all out there is, who do you want to be the kicker? Give me a G for Gay, Give me a K for a special K. Dark side. I think hearing him speak about Dylan Laube, we are going to be surprised about the starting lineup this year. Thoughts? So I would say, and I hate when people say this, but I understand why people say it. I am not a Dylan Laube hater, and I'm not, right? I think one of the things that I've always tried to do throughout my career is give Raider fans my God-honest opinion. And if I don't believe in a certain player, I'm going to let you know. It doesn't mean that I'm a hater. It's just that's my opinion. I'll tell you this right now. Dylan Laube was somebody that stuck out at first day of minicamp. Dylan Laube also stuck out again today. I'm under the impression that it is Ashton's number 1, Mike Washington Jr. is number 2, and then Dylan Laube is number 3. I have a source that is close to Roman Hemby and is close to a lot of running backs in the NFL. I'm not going to lie to you. And I haven't really heard too much on Hemby, but what I've been hearing about Laube is that it looks like it's just connecting a little bit more. And sometimes we give certain players a pass, and maybe I haven't been fair to Laube, who's going on his 3rd different regime. I do think being able to pass protect has got to be something that he does a better job of, being able to catch the football, but special teams. He has to be better on special teams, and one of the areas that I've heard that he's improved on is kind of playing that Raheem Mostert role that the Raiders had last season, where they really counted on him to play special teams. And maybe they don't want Mike Washington Jr. to do it because he's had some fumbling issues, but then again, that's where Laube's really struggled. If Laube's fixed a lot of those fumbling issues, I'm going to want to see him out there on the field more. But the unfortunate part is every offseason I've heard positive things about Laube, positive things about Dylan because he's loved in the locker room. He is a really good athlete. He's always happy to be there. He works his freaking tail off, and he is somebody that when it's not been physical, he's looked really good. So I write things down every offseason, and I wrote down this offseason, don't get burnt. And one of the things that I always say don't get burnt by is you're going to hear those positive reports around certain players because when the pads aren't on, they probably do look better. And Laube the past 2 years has been one of those guys. So I am going to temper my expectations, but I do think people should know that Laube is on the Raiders' radar, and he's been somebody that hasn't been featured in a 53-man roster video. I'm just going to tell you right now, pretty damn sure he's going to be in my next 53-man roster video that I end up doing. What up, Raider Rick? Raiders Report, Royal Rumble sounds fun. I think it sounds electric, dude. Again, if we were to go live for a WWE event, I don't really care about WWE. All right, we got, looks like somebody coming up here. First one up, I believe it's Quay Walker up to the podium. We'll get some more questions here in a little bit.
How disappointed has it been that you haven't really been able to take the field with him yet?
I wouldn't quite say it's been disappointing. I just know he's here every day. So I still have a job to do myself, you know what I'm saying? You never know what happened or whatever the case may be, but he's still here every day. That's all I can really say as of now.
Quay, you have an extremely high football IQ. I mean, at Georgia, 3 years waiting to get in that starting lineup, but when you did, you burst on. And that has helped you throughout your career. You're always getting better. Mm-hmm. Would you talk about where that drive comes from with you, please?
Honestly, I think it came from me not actually playing inside linebacker before I got to college. So I had to learn it. And it took me a little while, especially with being in the Kirby Smart system. It was so much that he put on inside linebackers. And it was new for me. I felt like football was new because I had to learn how to play inside. Sometimes it's easy to let your instincts just take over and play, but you can miss one assignment and it can be an explosive or a touchdown. And Kirby ain't really – he's much nicer than what he is now. I mean, he wasn't as nice as he is now is what I meant to say. But so anything I would do, I know he would be real, real hard on me, so that kind of played a factor in it. And I remember trying to transition back to outside linebacker because that was kind of natural for me, and I felt like I could do that with dropping the coverage and doing stuff like that. But honestly, man, I just always try to attack every day and see how can I become a better player. I'm so hard on myself to the point where any little thing that goes wrong, I kind of beat myself up about it. So I'm just trying to give myself a little grace. That's what I've been working on this offseason. Anytime something go wrong, just give myself some grace and try to have a next play mentality so I can, move forward because I know it's a lot to come. You know what I'm saying? I can make a play that next play, although I probably gave up something or whatever the case may be. So I'm just trying to move with the right mindset.
I've been impressed watching you teach. I watched you the other day, the day you got the interception, teaching Cody. What has been your impression? He's a young guy, but
sure.
a sponge like you were when you were young.
Honestly, man, Cody is a guy who's tremendously like smart, knows everything, know what everybody's supposed to be doing and stuff like that. It's certain things that I feel like I can help him with as in being off the quarterback, whatever it may be, just any little thing. So any advice I can give him, I try to just give it to him, and he's like a sponge. He soak up anything I give to him. He don't feel any type of way. I don't try to be on him as much. I still allow him to be himself, but if I can help in any way, I just try to do that, and he always listens to me. So shout out to Cody for sure.
What's been the benefit of having so many guys on the defense that can play multiple spots on the
Say it
field?
again for my head.
What do you think is the benefit of having multiple guys on the defense that can play multiple spots on the field like you?
Honestly, man, it's a lot for offense going in that week ahead of. So, say for instance, we're playing say for instance, it's week 1, and the team is just trying to get us together, whatever the case may be, and they present, you know what I'm saying, our defense. You know, we have a lot of guys that play this, play that, you know what I'm saying, they just move around in a lot of areas. So now it's kind of hard to scout against us and tell what we are doing. Like, say for instance, I'm on the line, you never know if I'm going to drop or if I'm going to rush, you know what I'm saying, whether that's to the field or the boundary. Same thing with Chin, Quay, no matter what the case may be, Mats. It just is a whole lot, you know what I'm saying. It kind of helps and play hand in hand with the whole defense, I'll say.
As one of the leaders on this defense, how satisfied are you with the progress that you guys have made this offseason as you wrap it up? And also, what's the message so that when you hit the pause button here, nothing gets lost and that you guys hit the ground running in training camp?
I'm going to start with the last question. Honestly, man, just staying in the playbook, you know what I'm saying, because this is new. We've been challenged in different ways. I'm playing more positions that I probably ever played in my career, but this is a challenge that I'm willing to accept. This is what I've always wanted to do. I always want to be a guy who can move around and play multiple positions. And honestly, man, where we at right now, we're growing each and every day. That's all you can ask for. A lot of teams are preaching the same thing around this time. So how are we going to separate ourselves in order for us to get to what we want to get and to get what we can get out of, you know what I'm saying, the OTAs in this offseason. So we just got to stay locked in with it and just have the mindset. And as a leader, it's my job, I feel, as if come in with the right mindset and making sure that guys can match my energy, whatever the case may be.
What's the difference in last year playing in a 4-3 defense in Green Bay and playing in what's expected to be a 3-4? What's that preparation been like, and how do you think you adapt to it?
Honestly, I think football is football at the end of the day. I think there's no system that I can't play in. Not that I'm just speaking so highly of myself. But football is football at the end of the day. It's kind of similar because I played in 3-4 my first 2 years in the league. Not only that, at UGA, I did the same thing. So just being comfortable with that, and that's kind of it. I don't really say it's a difference. I feel like scheme-wise, it kind of is, but at the end of the day, football is still football. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I can say.
Although you haven't been able to dress with Nakobe here in Las Vegas, you guys did spend some time together in Georgia.
Right.
Just what can you say about his presence, just both on the field and in the locker room, that he can still bring about Vegas?
It's different. Honestly, this is no knock on anybody who I played with beforehand. Like I played with Edwin Cooper, who's a pretty like tremendous guy. But me playing with Nakobe, this is a connection that I had with him way before, you know what I'm saying, we got to this level. It's been a minute since I played with him, but you know what I'm saying, it's kind of natural. So I kind of know what he's thinking. I kind of know what you know what I'm saying. It may take a while because it's still been years, but I feel like we just pick up well off one another. We can feed off each other real well. And I know some days we are human. So some days he may come in, he may not be feeling it a little bit, or I may not be feeling it, but we can like feel each other's energy. We can just pick up and push one another. I know one day we was in here working out in OTAs, and I kind of picked it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We was going at it a little bit, and he fed off of that. So that kind of reminded me back to, I don't want to keep talking about UGA, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. You know, go Dogs, by the way. Sorry.
What's been the mindset for you as an outside linebacker versus being off the ball as an inside linebacker each play? So you're going in and out of it. What's that mindset of or the checklist that you go through each play?
Honestly, I just had the same mentality, man. At the end of the day, you got to win your one-on-one. Just got to stay physical. Anytime you're physical and you can just be the guy, that cross everything out. You know what I'm saying? Just being relentless. That's all my mindset every play. How can I be relentless? How can I win this rep? Anytime I move down on the edge, first thing come to mind is, all right, my awareness kick in. I'm having pre-snap awareness, just trying to see what the formation is and see what I can recognize. See if it's going to be run or see if it's going to be pass or whatever the case may be. If the run coming to me, make sure I set the edge and do my job. not try to go 1-for-1, but just try to be as physical as I can. Honestly, making many plays as I can as well. So it don't really change, I'll say, for sure. So I just keep it the same. Are you good?
Quay, Rob Leonard told us that he wants the defense to play very fast and aggressive. What kind of freedom does that give you as a player? How does that match your style of play?
I mean, that's kind of describe me. Anytime I can be fast and be aggressive, I think I'm at my best. Anytime I got to sit right there and just think a whole lot. Not saying I don't want to do that, but playing inside linebacker, that's kind of what it takes. You know what I'm saying? You have to think and react within 2 to 3 seconds, whatever the case may be. But anytime we can just line up and play and just react and play fast and be aggressive, that's the way I want to do it. And I think that's why my style fit this organization. You know what I'm saying? I think it's the right way.
Going back to Georgia, you got to have a Brock Bowers story. And Zeus told us a ton of them when he got here. Talk about him early, what you saw.
Honestly, I knew Brock. I think all of us kind of knew Brock was Brock. Well, I don't want to say that. I'm trying to see how I can word this. We know he was special as soon as probably say fall camp came around. And fall camp is pretty hectic, especially as a freshman. You're not knowing what to expect, man. It's hot. Whatever the case may be, tempo is very, very high. Like it's hard, you know what I'm saying? But that didn't like change his mindset at all. He didn't fade away or do anything like that. So seeing him what he doing now, it's not a surprise at all. You know what I'm saying? To see what he did his freshman year, that was the only year I played with him. So to see him just grow, man, it's been tremendous just to watch. You know what I'm saying? Just to see, even on Sundays when I wasn't here, just to see him. So I'm not surprised at all because he's a hard worker. He don't say much. He kind of talking a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, than when I first met him. So now he's talking a little bit more. But, yeah, man, it's tremendous to see.
The biggest piece of advice that you've been able to try to give to Cody and Tommy in that room now, kind of having some more years under your belt, what is the biggest thing you want to pass on to them?
Honestly, man, just never forget, this is an opportunity that all of us we always pray to be in. Sometimes we can lose the train of thought of that. Like, we kind of like focus on everything else instead of just being directly in the moment and just being thankful for where we are. So I just try to keep them with the right mindset, as in, man, this is everything you work for. Never lose the train of thought of that. And anytime you're out there, man, just play with confidence. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be challenges that comes, but, man, just go out there and just play. It's the reason you're here. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of people that's dying to be in our shoes. A lot of people may say this or say that, but if everybody could do it, they'll be right here. But that's not the case. So we part of the 1% that's doing it, and so that's all I try to say. I just try to encourage people with those type of words.
How would you describe Clint Kubiak as a coach?
Tremendously. There's so much that I can say. Some days he got high energy, some days he quiet. Kind of hard to read a little bit, but that's a good thing. I think I'm kind of hard to read too. So, but you know, he's a coach who wanted the team to be player led, and that's the first thing when I first met with him that I pretty much enjoyed. I won't say that I enjoyed, but that was the first thing that I kind of respected, that stood out to me when I first had a conversation with him. He wanted to find out who the leaders were right away. You know what I'm saying? He didn't waste no days, probably the first 2 to 3 days of the OTAs. He wanted his team to be player-led. Anytime a team is player-led, that leads to wins. I just continue to build and build and build. But I wish I can go more in the tune, like more in the depth with it, but I'm still learning him as well. So, and I don't really talk. I talk to him, but, you know, he more so on the offensive side than the defensive side. But we talk as much as we can, but give me probably about 2 more weeks, and I can have a better answer for you for sure.
In Green Bay, you play for teams that qualify for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And coming here to Las Vegas is an organization that hasn't been to the playoffs a lot over the last 10, 15 years. From that process, what do you take from Green Bay that you bring here for a lot of guys who don't understand that process of what it takes to get to the playoffs?
Man, it's a day in and day out type of thing. It's a certain mentality that you have to have. You really have to take it week by week. You know what I'm saying? You got to prepare the same way each and every day. You got to come in with the right mindset. And like I said, it has to be a player-led team, and that'll lead to the wins and the victories. But it also leads to the sense of urgency that you have to have for OTAs and leading up into the season. You know what I'm saying? Even when practice comes, the sense of urgency for the team has to be up. And so for me as a leader, I just want to come in here with the right mindset because I know what it takes to win. I didn't win the big one when I was at Green Bay. I probably didn't get to, you know what I'm saying, close to the game right before to the Super Bowl, however you want to put it. But I still feel like I have a winning mentality, and I kind of just want to bring my leadership and just my presence and my energy to this organization. I feel like that's part of the reason why I actually came here, because I wanted to be a part of a guy. I want to be a guy that can actually turn the organization around and get us back to where, you know what I'm saying, we used to be. So that's all I can say.
With your speed, strength, and everything, without getting into scheme, you're a Swiss Army knife. You can play a lot of different places. How much do you like that in Robbie's plan? You could see you all over the place, utilizing you, not just pigeonholing you to one spot.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said. Honestly, I remember when I first signed here, and we were doing an interview up here, and I got back to I'm being used the right way. I think the last team I played for, I think kind of took it the wrong way. I wasn't saying it out of, you know what I'm saying, just to be disrespectful towards the previous team, which is the Packers. I was just saying, like, I'm moving around in different places. I feel like that's where my strength are. It's like you can move me down on the ball or you can bring me back. It's a lot that I can do. And I just feel like right now I'm being used the right way. I will never say it's more than I can chew, but it's everything that I want. So I won't sit right here and I complain or anything like that. Like I told Robbie, like I got his back. So whatever the case may be, I can do it. So I'm just happy that, you know what I'm saying, he view me as a player that can do multiple things and help me out, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm happy for.
You played against Kirk, obviously, in the NFC North. What's it been like being his teammate in this short period? What have you learned about him?
I done learned a lot, man. We talk about everything, and honestly, I kind of I always reflect back to when I did play in Minnesota, so I kind of know Kirk a little bit. I don't want to say too much right here in front of this podium, but yeah, so I kind of know him a little bit, so I can pretty much just reflect back to when I did play him in Minnesota, what he may do, anything like that. So it's kind of easy. I ain't gonna say easy, but I'm kind of used to it, is what I'm trying to say. Kind of used to him.
Were you on the field when he tore his Achilles?
Yeah, I was.
What's it like, coming full circle? He talked about how much healthier he feels now.
Sure.
Like, are you seeing that?
We actually talked about that because that happened at Lambeau, I want to say. And we just talked about that. We talked about that. Talked about a play that I supposedly made. I think I supposed to call a pick. I dropped it. We talked about that. But honestly, man, I just think it's full circle. Even when he was in Atlanta last year, he was just talking about how healthy he feel. Coming back on it, that type of injury can challenge you mentally. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy to come back from, but I think he done all the right things to be back to, you know what I'm saying, who he is and things of that nature. So that's it.
Thanks, Ray. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Shout out to Quay Walker. Just so y'all know, man, we got an alley-oop. It's been sitting up there for a very, very long time, which means next coming up here is either going to be A.J. Cole or Jalen Nailor. And the way that these pressers have been going, once the players have been talking, then they've been moving rather quickly. So I would imagine we're going to get to see Cole and Nailor relatively soon. If you want to let me know who you want to see first, give me a 6 for A.J. Cole. Give me a 9. That's for you, Rebel, for Jalen Nailor. I'll tell you this, man. I love the mentality Quay Walker brings. He's been somebody that I've said, don't be shocked if he's got a C on his chest. I don't know how many captains the Raiders are going to give out, but it does look like now A.J. Cole here up at the podium, ready for his presser time.
Daniel Carlson, what a wonderful person, one of your best friends leaves, but that's the business of the NFL. Will you talk about your role in teaching a young kicker and helping them, who obviously they look up to your success in all your longevity?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been really interesting having rookies around, having Tyler and Quay around. We haven't had rookies in training camp in a while, so it's interesting for me to be able to help them with their journey. There's so many things that you take for granted, having played in this league for a little bit. And so for me, getting to kind of relive my rookie year through them a little bit and get to tell them what my experiences were like going through OTAs and training camp has been really fun. And I think there's a lot of learning that I've done as well, like reflecting back on my process, because there's some questions that they ask me, and I almost have some routines or habits that are just second nature at this point, and I'm having to explain why I do what I do. And I think that's helped me grow as well. So I think it's been a mutually beneficial situation. But they're both really talented young players, and it's been fun to kind of work with them.
What is the best way to describe Clint Kubiak since you've gotten a chance to interact with him over the past couple of months?
Yeah, I think he's all football. I think he's very genuine. What you see is what you get. and he just wants to win, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get that done here. But yeah, he's all football, and he's very, very motivated and very driven.
You've seen a lot of different coaching staffs, a lot of different regimes. What gives you the hope that this is the right one and this one's going to work?
Yeah, and I've seen a lot. This is my 6th head coach, and I think the main takeaways I have on what it takes to be successful as a head coach is you have to be authentically yourself, and then you have to hire good people around you and trust them to do your job. And so far, that's all that he's done. And so it's been really fun to see that. I think he knows who he is. I think he's very confident and comfortable in his own skin, and that's a really impressive quality. Because I think that any kind of lack of authenticity is pretty easily sniffed out. And so I think that it's been really cool to see just the confidence in who he is. And I think he's hired a great staff, and I think he really trusts the people around him, and I think that's going to go a long way.
Coach Nick was in here a second ago, and he kept referring to Matsuzawa as Special K. Is that the name you guys have for him here, and where does that come from?
Yeah, I think it's what Joe D's been calling him a little bit. I've been trying to call him Kansei as much as possible, but the first couple days I wasn't super confident in the pronunciation.
I feel that.
So I was like, but I was also like, you can't just meet a guy and right off the bat start calling him the Tokyo Toe. It's kind of a mouthful. Like, hey, good morning, the Tokyo Toe. It just doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. But I wasn't 100% sure in the pronunciation, so I also was kind of like, I was either saying it like really quickly or kind of mumbling through it. I was like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, but then at some points too, when he was at a distance and I had to say it loud, we were just calling him K. Now I feel really comfortable with the pronunciation. I think that Special K maybe is it's not quite as good as the Tokyo Toe. The alliteration on that's pretty unbelievable, but Special K is it's a good backup nickname.
Like a pretty high energy coach himself. Is that an adjustment for you at all, or is how interesting is it hearing a new voice and maybe that new kind of level of intensity?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in my 8th season, and although I've had all these different head coaches, it's only my 3rd special teams coordinator full time. It's been a blast to work with him. I've really enjoyed it. I've really appreciated his insight into the things that he thinks I do well, the things he wants me to improve on, and the things that I think we can do together. He's got such a unique approach. He's very creative. Like you said, he's very energetic. And I think that for special teams at this level, I think that's very, very critical because the reality is most people don't grow up wanting to play left tackle on punt team. They want to be the starting linebacker. Most people don't grow up saying, I want to be the wing. They want to be the starting running back. But we need those guys to do that job at a high level. And so when he comes into the room with that energy and that fire and that passion, I think it lights it in a bunch of other people. And so hopefully, I'm confident that will bring the best out of the group.
They said for 7 years, the elite operation of snap, hold, and kick was pretty similar, play in and play out. It won't be that way this year with Daniel not being here. So how do you build that chemistry with the guys that you have so far, Kansei, obviously, and Matt? How do you continue to build that chemistry on how they may want that ball settled?
Yeah, it's just reps. I mean, it's just doing the work. It's just showing up here every single day, getting the work in, and then being really intentional about those reps and asking them, hey, how do you want this? How do you want that? How do you want this done? And it's not just the technical aspect of them getting comfortable with me holding, me getting comfortable with knowing how they want the football. It's also the mental aspect of it of like, I see myself not only as the holder when I'm out there, but also as their caddy. So like, what do you want from me in terms of communication? Do you want me to talk a lot? Do you want me to just shut up? Do you want me to just listen? Do you want me to ask questions? Different parts of the game. Do you want like advice? Do you want feedback? Do you like, what is it that you're looking for? End of game situation. We got a Mayday field goal. How much communication do you want from me on terms of where we are on the clock? And these are things that, with Daniel and I, we worked together for so long, we were completely speaking the same language. And so making sure that we can get to that level as quickly as possible is critical because I do think it affects their confidence. I think it affects their ability to make kicks, which affects us winning and losing football games. So figuring out all of those things, how they want me to treat them, how they want me to caddy for them, as well as how they want me to hold for them, I think is important.
Teaching yourself?
Yeah, I think a little bit. Yeah, like I was talking about earlier, there's some processes that I personally have that they're so second nature to me. Sometimes I don't even remember why I do the things that I do, the warm-ups or the mental routine or these other things. And so when you get into some of the situational football, like when we're kicking field goals and some of the like finer details, there's some things that I'm like, yeah, for sure having to reteach myself in terms of like, okay, this is why Daniel did it, how he did it. How do you want to do it?
Daniel, yeah, I mean, AJ, you are very driven. In my opinion, and many others, you're the best punter in the NFL. How do you keep getting better? Because every year I've covered you, you do. How do you keep doing that when you're already elite?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is I just have like a violent case of imposter syndrome. I just constantly think
I love AJ. I do think he's the best
I
punter
just
in
don't
the
think I
NFL,
stack
but he
up.
has
I
by
kick
far
with
his
other
worst
guys in the
year of
off
his career
season
last year.
constantly, and I'm
Ponzo's,
always
like, number one
only
thing is,
remembering
let me
their
give you a
good punts and then
compliment,
deleting their bad punts.
and
And
then
then when I
kinda
look
ask
back
you
at
a
my own
question.
session, I only remember my bad punts and I forget all the good ones. So if I have one bad punt in a day in a game, that's the only one I remember. And so I think part of it is I just think that I have a little bit of that I have to kind of work around, and that's something that can potentially affect your confidence if you don't know how to properly manage it. And the other thing is I don't think there's anything special about me. I think the reason that I've produced on the field the way I've produced is because of the work I've put in. It's because of the processes I have in place. And it's not like I have something different in my genetics that makes me predisposed to be better at punting. Because I remember what it looked like when I started. And so I don't think there's anything special or unique about me. I think what's special and unique is the work that I do. And so that's what keeps me going, is because I want to be good at this game for a really long time. And I think that's what it's going to take.
John Spytek, when he brought in all these new free agents, a lot of them are leaders, and he was big on bringing in character guys. How have you kind of seen all these different leaders and different, not just special teams, but defense and as well as offense kind of come together so far?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we do really have a high character locker room right now, and it's fun to see. And I really do believe that leaders build leaders. And so I think that's contagious. And I think that when you bring that quality of person and that quality of character into the locker room, it just rises the level of everybody from a leadership perspective, from a production standpoint. And so, yeah, all the guys we brought in through free agency, through the last couple drafts, they're all really high character guys. And it makes it easier to come to work with, too, when you've got less drama, less divas, people that show up excited to work, ready to go, and they don't have the, just the droopy faces and the bad body language. That's contagious as well. And so having as little of that as possible, and hopefully you're never probably going to have 100% buy-in, but hopefully it becomes like the cool thing or the normal thing to be excited to come to work and excited to practice and excited to do the little extra things. And then it becomes contagious in that way. And I think that's how you can kind of get the ball rolling and turn that into wins.
A couple more guys.
There's first round picks and there's the first pick in the draft. And on top of that, a first pick quarterback. Fernando walks into this locker room, walks into this building with a lot on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of that, were you curious how he was going to handle that, how he was going to be, and how's your curiosity matched up with what you've seen from him so far?
Yeah, I'm very impressed. I think he is just exactly what you see is what you get. It's kind of the funny thing of like in the off season when you're hanging out with people, friends, family, whatever. That's the question, right? Is like, oh, what's Fernando like? Oh, what's he like? That's like the question I'm fielding every weekend essentially from whoever I'm hanging out with, and that's just the answer I keep telling people is whatever you think he's like, that's exactly what he's like. It's not a bit, it's not an act. He's extremely genuine. He's extremely authentic. He's extremely motivated, and I think that he's done a fantastic job of not coming in here with like too much on his shoulders. Just saying, I want to be a great teammate. I want to help the team win. I want to learn. I want to do whatever I can. And I think in any way that we can, coaches, teammates, friends, to take the pressure off of him, that's good. And he doesn't need to put the fate of the universe on his shoulders. We don't need him to be Superman. We just need him to be Fernando.
That you said earlier is that you believe Clint Kubiak has been his authentic self and has got a coaching staff.
Just cut out. All right, y'all. I think the Raiders internet just went down.
And he's
Oh,
going
we're back.
through the slides, and he's just fired up. That I think it's just that passion that you can't really fake. And when guys don't really love what they do, you can only hold on to it for so long. And we spend so much time with these coaches through practice fields, meeting rooms, etc., that it's just impossible to fake the passion that he feels for the game. And so I don't have like a specific story for you necessarily. There's probably very few that I could share into a microphone. But yeah, that passion is just hard to replicate.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Shout out to AJ Cole again. Sorry, there was like that second or two that there was no audio or whatever. Again, we are just taking in what the Raiders are sending out to their YouTube channel, and I think that they lost connection there for a split second because obviously our Wi-Fi was good because I was clear. I was fine. It looked like that their side of it. So if that ends up happening, we're going to do our best to kind of roll with the punches. But I love what AJ Cole has to say there. And I thought it was really interesting because we were kind of talking about it earlier on this live show of like, what does that holder have to do for the new kicker, Kansai Matsuzawa? I literally LOL'd here and AJ be like, you can't really call somebody the Tokyo Toe, but kind of just getting a little bit of an inside look on, being the caddy to the kicker. I thought was a really fun thing to be able to hear him say. It's not something that we really think about a lot of times, but he's right though, right? If it's a big kick, do you want to be talked to? Do you want to say, hey? Do you want to just be totally ignored? I mean, I'm not going to compare it, but in my baseball days, I spent a lot of time with a lot of pitchers, and everybody's completely different. Some guys want to be talked to. Some guys don't want to be talked to. And I would imagine kicking is very similar in terms of, it's a very big mental game. So I loved actually what we just heard there from AJ Cole, just hearing a little bit more from his side. You got to hear a little bit about Fernando Mendoza. But overall, he also said that he felt like this coaching staff is extremely well oriented. He said that he feels like that this team is really close, that the buy-in's there. Something else that I remember that AJ ended up saying was like along the lines of what's important or like a big difference between this staff compared to like past staffs. It's coaches staying genuine to who they are, which is what Clint is known for, and bringing in good coaching staffs around. I think you've heard multiple players this Raiders offseason kind of really highlighted the idea of we have good coaches that are actually coaching and are actually doing their job and helping us get better and taking advantage of our time instead of feeling like, they're kind of wasting it. Cassidy Gates, let's go to a super chat while we are waiting for Raiders wide receiver Jalen Nailor to take the podium. A's lost to Milwaukee 29 runs, 12 innings. It was hot. I mean, I'll tell you this, though. That's a hell of a baseball game. You got some free innings in there, 29 runs. The A's ended up losing to Milwaukee, but that's a hell of a game, man. To me, if it's the Mets, I want the Mets to win every single time, which obviously doesn't happen. But, if you're going to go to a game, you got to experience it. I do actually like pitching battles. I'm not going to lie, since I was a pitcher back in my day. What up, Elijah? Appreciate you here in the building. If you guys want to shout out here on the Raiders Report, who's rocking with me today? I didn't plan on going live. Today, and I've been trying to tell fans, if you want to watch pressers, watch them here on the Raiders Report. Tell your friends, tell other Raider fans, watch them here on the Raiders Report, because our comment section is a lot better than the comment section over there on YouTube. I promise you that. I want to be able to have detailed conversations, and the other reason why I want people to tune into the Raiders Report for pressers is instead of just watching a shield rotate right now, you're actually getting some actual Raiders content. If you want to get those questions, comments in the program, hashtag Raiders or Super Chat is how you're going to be able to do it. And some of the deals that we are doing today, if you want to get into my Raiders Report Fantasy Football League, there's two different types of tickets you can get. You can get what I like to call a regular ticket, which right now 112 regular tickets have been given out. Or you can get yourself a golden ticket, better chance to get in the league. 14 golden tickets have been given out. Our deals on the Raiders Report today, $10 Venmo, you get in the duck race. $20 Super Chat for a fantasy wheel spin, which I see that we owe one for Mexico Raider here in a moment. Had a silent alley-oop and thrown down from Isaac Hernandez and Brandon Vivo. Been a dynamic June duo. And if you bang in the month of June, we're going to keep a tally. Whoever the bangs the most, you're going to get in our Fantasy Football League. MVP of today's show will go home with another golden ticket. And right now that belongs to Isaac Hernandez. What up, Excavator? Hey, Mitch. My 16-year-old son was invited to a baseball showcase at Stanford yesterday. I mean, first off, dude, congratulations to you, to your son. I can remember at that time of that point for me. Oh, sorry, we're going to go to Jalen Nailor. Exo, we'll go right back to you and get your wheel spin,
going
brother.
back to becoming one of our Spartans. And the thing that's always stood out with you is everybody has speed,
Compliment.
but your brain, your football IQ, you're able to read things, to adjust. And it's just
Jalen Nailor was
continued to
jacked.
get better. For you, at this level in your career, how do you continue to do
Ask the
that?
question, Hondo.
You know, I'm just trying to find ways to improve, you know, no matter what it is. If it's seeing things that the younger guys are getting, seeing that type of stuff, and I just play that in. Try to take those mental reps and just build on that type of stuff to where once I do get in, I see that coverage or I see how the defense is playing. You know, I can adjust and do what I got to do.
You obviously have some experience playing with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. Does that chemistry really kind of just pick back up where it left off when you get out here?
Pretty much. It feels like that. So I mean, we just trying to grow as a group, as a whole offensive unit, and just having that chemistry with Kirk it's been great so far, and we're just trying to keep on building on that.
Seen any differences in him kind of over the past two stops, now getting there and you guys are together again?
No, I wouldn't say. I would say Kirk's the same guy he was 4 years ago. You know, he still has those dad jokes that he loves to bring, and just the energy that he brings to the team, and when guys are making plays, you know, he's the first one celebrating and just being happy for us to go out there and make plays.
The Raiders making an investment in you, and on your part, there's a projection. How am I going to fit into this offense? What's my role going to be? It's been a couple months, I guess, now through OTAs and the offseason program. How do you see that evolving?
You know, just trying to be a guy that can play all over the field. I think Coach Quay does a great job of just getting his playmakers the ball. You know, and it's not just myself. We got Trey, we got Brock, we got those guys that can do multiple things in the offense, and that's what's going to separate us as a unit. You know, just to have guys just move around. You never know where they're going to be at on a single play.
Jalen, how much do you feel, though, if it is potentially an increased role than it was in Minnesota, that you could flourish in a bigger role?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the challenge. You know, I see myself as a guy that can have that jump from snaps and just be who I am. You know, and just try to make plays when I'm called upon, and try to bring guys with me.
In 2018, when you were contemplating moving to Michigan, it was home, family, how much you love the Valley. How special was it that now your journey is bringing you back and where you get to be back?
It's a blessing. You know, I wasn't expecting to come back here, but you know, once I did get that call, you know, I just took it, and I'm just very grateful to have this beautiful city. You know, I have my family around me, things like that. So it's a very it's just a blessing.
What's your relationship been like so far with Trey Tucker, and how do you guys kind of bounce off each other and learn from one another?
Trey, yeah, he's my guy since day one. First day I got here, you know, he's been a dog, you know, whether it's lifting, whether it's doing the extra things, and you guys see it on the field. Like he's always flying around. He can run all day. Like Coach Kubiak has expressed to you guys as well. You know, he has a motor that is like what we need as a receiver and as a receiver room. You know, just to have that type of guy that can just go and have that examples being put out day in and day out.
So many guys keep talking about the attention to detail, eliminating the gray within this offense.
Mm-hmm.
What's been something that stood out to you about that? But then also your role in blocking along the perimeter, which we saw so many receivers in this offense create the opportunities for the running backs.
Yeah, I mean, it's no block, no rock mentality for us as a receiver room. You know, we gotta be able to do the dirty work.
Love that.
Dig.
No rock block mentality.
Block, no rock. Where'd that come from?
It came from my college coach, Coach Hawk. So, I mean, just having that mentality, it's not a you thing. It's more of it's a team thing. We got to be a team. This is a team sport. So, just to have that type of mentality in the receiver room, you know, it's only gonna make things easier for us in the pass game, and just marrying the run and the pass.
On the field, what's your early impressions of Fernando?
He's very smart. I would say that he's very smart. Very tall as well. You know, he can see over the offensive line. He can make those throws across the field and very accurate things like that. So, I mean, he's very eager to learn, which is very great for a rookie like him being a first round pick. He's always trying to pick somebody's brain to improve.
What do you, Kurt mentioned yesterday about the sense of urgency Kubiak brings to the building every single day. What do you like about that coaching style from him?
I love it. I love it, man. You know, we're trying to be an attacking team. You know, and with that sense of urgency, getting in and out the huddle, trying to catch the defense off guard, or trying to move guys around on defense to not dictate to the offense what coverage they're going to be in. So just having that urgency, having that communication is playing a big role right now.
Kubiak mentioned this about having a player-led environment, letting the players make the decisions on certain things, whether it's the quarterback decision or any other position groups. I was wondering, what do you like about that philosophy from him?
I feel like that's what the great teams do. That when they win, they're a player-led team. So just trying to take that every day. You know, just trying to have guys like if somebody's messing up, like it's not going to be a coach that's saying something. We want players to correct each other and help each other out, and that's how we're going to grow and get to where we got to be.
Zach Azani was talking about how there's not really any established roles within this receiver room just yet, and that's bred a lot of competition within the group. How have you guys kind of pushed each other through this off-season period?
You know, we're just trying to be a whole complete room. You know, we want guys to be able to play all three positions, inside, outside, be able to move around. So just having that competition, we're pushing each other. You know, if somebody's making a mistake, we want to help them out, and if they're doing something right, we congratulate them. So we're just trying to build something special here, and going back to the player-led thing, like that's a huge part of this.
You're aware of Brock Bowers from afar, but what's your impressions now being able to share the same building with him and work with him every day?
He's different. He's very different. Just the way he moves. He moves like a receiver, but he's big enough to be in the run game and block the ends, things like that. So, like what he brings to the table it's been nothing but amazing, and seeing it firsthand. And you know, it's very great to see him and see how he works.
What do you think is the most underrated trait about the receiver room as a whole that people you believe are just not picking up on from afar?
We don't have egos in our room. I would say, you know, we all want to be great. We all want to win. We want to do the right things on the field, off the field. You know, so we're just trying to be a complete room. To have guys go in, like if somebody comes in for another player, we want the same expectations for that player when they come in. So just having that type of mindset and just trying to build and just keep growing.
I think that when you look at Justin Jefferson, obviously in Minnesota, established himself as one of the best in the league, and he's considered a number one. And you draft Jordan Addison in the first round, he's considered the next tier wide receiver. And then you had the opportunities, but obviously less and far because of the guys in front of you. Now when you get here to the Raiders who sought you in free agency, and people say, hey, they still need a number one wide receiver, what's the conversation like in that room about the need of possibly a number one wide receiver when you have so many guys who are proven that they can be a number one receiver?
I mean, I feel like we don't even really think like that. You know, we just try to go out and do what we can when the play is called. You know, try to make the play and try to be in the right spot at the right moment. We're not looking at it like, oh, we need a number one wide receiver or X receiver, things like that. So that's not our mindset. Our mindset is just focusing on each day and just growing together as a group.
Is that unique? Is that sort of unique, I guess, in a way where there's not a set wide receiver one, wide receiver two? And is that Kubiak wanting you guys as an offense to be so versatile?
I mean, possibly. I couldn't really tell you his mindset on that, but I feel like we have the guys to do something as a receiver room in this league. So it's all about just putting the pieces together and just growing and just trying to compete every single day and get each other better.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Love that shirt.
I gotta find out what that shirt is. Probably that Fernando Mendoza one that I gave to Fernando back during the combine. Shout out to Jalen Nailor, AJ Cole, and Quay Walker for pulling up here and giving us a fun little presser. Day 2, Raiders minicamp in the book. So here's what we're going to do for the remainder of our live show today on the program. If we get any questions, hashtag Raiders or Super Chats, I am going to stay live. So I'm going to tell y'all like this right now. If you want me to stay live on this show, I need more questions. We need more Super Chats to get rolling in here, because if not, I got a wedding. I got to prepare for a few different things. Like I said, I actually did not plan on going live today. I am technically off tomorrow, but I want to be able to give you guys the best coverage I possibly can. So I do plan on being here yet again tomorrow. We'll kind of see how it ends up shaking out. But we got this one from Excavator. First off, again, man, I got a baseball background, and I can remember when I was 16, I got invited to my very first tryout. I'll be real with you. Won Stanford. I think I had a better chance to make the Stanford baseball team than the academics. I'll tell you that. But no, dude, like Stanford's obviously one of the best schools in the entire country for sports and academics. So I think that's personally speaks a lot of, you guys, and I am a big believer that kids are a big, representation in a sense of what their parents are and what their parents are. So I hope that you pat yourself on the back, because going to Stanford, dude, is an unbelievable accomplishment. A recruiter from the A's actually invited him. Shout out to Landon Hill. Watch for him in a couple of years. Well, we got to spin the wheel to see how many fantasy raffle tickets you get. I personally don't know Landon. I'll have to reach out to my cousin Anthony to see if he does. He's way more connected with the A's than I am. Obviously, I know a few people here and there, but one of the sources that I talked to for the Raiders, 7 raffle tickets for Excavator. Let's freaking go, man. Let's freaking go. 7 raffle tickets for Excavator. Dude, 16, going to a baseball camp. Electric times, man. If I could give your son any advice, because I did probably like 5 or 6 of them before I ended up deciding where I was going to go. Be yourself, right? Don't try to overdo it. If you're, like, whatever you're pitching, like, don't try to overthrow. Just go out there and be you. Because there was a few tryouts that I did where I tried to overthrow, and I was not nearly as effective as I wanted to be. And the number one tryout that I can still remember that I did, I went out there, I was myself, and I felt like I was my absolute best, and true feeling it's one of the reasons why I was able to go play college baseball. So, Excavator, very, very proud of yourself, man, but also to your son getting the opportunity to go to Stanford. That's great on and off the field. Pat yourself on the back. That's very, 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 very proud of yourself, man. That's awesome. Awesome. Rebel, what's going on? Lamont here in the building. I saw Dark Side Nation said he's turning 43 tomorrow. Happy birthday to Dark Side Nation. I don't know, like I said, exactly what the timing of everything is, because it was reported today that the Raiders media team will not be there for practice tomorrow, but the Raiders are supposed to have a practice. They did rest a lot of the veterans today based on some of the reports that are out there. So we're just going to have to wait and see what tomorrow presents itself with. But I will be here tomorrow, ready to rock and roll. And if it's literally just, hey, here's a Clint Kubiak presser, and as soon as that presser is over, I get picked up by my wife and we go on our flight, hey, that's what it's going to have to be. How are we feeling about UDFA wide receivers Chase Roberts, Corey Rucker, and E.J. Williams Jr., or even Shedrick Jackson? Do you think any of them got a shot at the 53? I think Shedrick Jackson has a legitimate chance to make this roster. He's had an outstanding day. Again, Levi Edwards reported that he was the biggest winner from Raiders' day 1 minicamp practice. Now, I also heard that he had a very good practice. It was reported by Ryan McFadden he had a good practice. It was reported by Sam Warren that he had a good practice. It was reported by, son of a gun, there's one more person in there, and I'm so sorry I can't think of the name, that he had a hell of a practice yesterday. But, the Raiders want guys, and the reason why, I think how about let me paint this picture, right? Can you show the Raiders wide receiver depth chart for me? Jalen Nailor, Trey Tucker, Jack Bestone. We're all in agreement. Those guys are making the roster, right? Sounds good. Malik Benson, that's going to be somebody that ends up making this roster. The Raiders also brought in Derek Young. Do I think Young is really going to offer us too much as a receiver? No, I do not. But this organization loves him in special teams for what he was able to do last season with the Seattle Seahawks and being one of the best gunners, being one of the best special teams players. Like, y'all remember how much we used to love Matt Collins and what he offered on special teams? It's kind of what Derek Young does. Big outside body, runs that 4.4 40-yard dash. But then what it's going to come down to is I see the Raiders keeping 6 receivers. So do they keep a Dante Thornton Jr. over a Shedrick Jackson, over a Chase Roberts, over a Jonathan Brady, E.J. Williams, Corey Rucker Jr., some of these UDFAs? Like, to me, I almost think it's more value to that bottom of the roster receiver to also give you some help on special teams, which unfortunately is not what Dante Thornton Jr. does. And he's not ever really going to help you out on special teams because he's not physical enough to be able to do it. I've heard some good stuff about Jonathan Brady. I heard he's a spark plug. E.J. Williams Jr., funny enough, might actually bring him on the show here on the Raiders Report. I was talking to somebody yesterday that's working on bringing on E.J. Williams on this program. He's just got to get approved by the Raiders media. So if he doesn't come on the show, it's the Raiders media telling E.J. Williams that he's not allowed to join the program, which it's happened before and it'll probably happen again. And I hope that the Raiders media really just realizes, man, I'm just trying to do my job. I'm not trying to steal anything from y'all, but I get it. If they only want players on their programs or they pick certain programs that they're allowed to join, I get it. Believe me, there's certain people I won't work with, and if that's the way it is what it is. Chase Roberts, Corey Rucker. I haven't heard too much on Corey Rucker. I have heard that Chase Roberts has been impressive, very much so from like a physicality standpoint that he brings in. Good blocker, not the fastest guy, but again, brings that physicality, leader at BYU. But I would say without a doubt, Shedrick Jackson is the number one top player from all these guys that you mentioned that actually has a shot to make this team. What up, Brandon B? What's going on, y'all? Now, I don't want to be pessimistic, but if we had a top 5 draft pick next year, who do you think Spy prioritizes? I mean, if we have a top 5 pick in the draft, for what? See, I think if you have a top 5 pick, again, it's what's the Raiders' biggest team need? Where do you feel like your biggest weakness is going to be at? And I don't necessarily know where that's going to be right now. But if it was up to me, I would say personally, if you plan on starting Fernando Mendoza, it's making sure that everything around him is 100% the best possible. Like maybe you do look at Smith, who Mendoza worked with this offseason. I would say he's the best wide receiver coming out this year's draft. But I'm hoping that we don't have a top 5 pick. I really don't want a top 5 pick. Really just don't want a top 5 pick, man. I want the Raiders to be good. I want the Raiders to be successful unless we somehow make a deal and we figure out a way to get somebody else's first-round pick and then they're in the top 5, which I don't know what team that would be necessarily. But shout out to you, Brandon B., for also throwing down that alley-oop. Brandon B., Isaac Hernandez, top 2 MVPs today. Luda, thoughts on this crazy Stanley Cup final? If you guys want to let me know who you got, Vegas Golden Knights or the Carolina Hurricanes, you can. VGK. We should have a weigh-in, too. It's probably from yesterday. I mean, I'll say this, man. I am rooting for the Vegas Golden Knights, but just because when I watch the games, I want goals, dude. Like, I do. I want goals scored. I want a lot of points, and it's actually been something that I've been able to do on Prize Picks. I've had actually a lot of success on Prize Picks, taking the more on the goals, because what Prize Picks does is, so this is what I did yesterday. Prize Picks has been doing like the 5.5 goals, more or less. There's every day I get a Chugs nipples every single day. What? Nothing. I think Chugs wants to show his nipples on here. What's up, Nipply? Shout out to Chugs. No, so I was saying, like, but what I did yesterday was I actually put the 5.5 goals. I actually set it to 6.5 on the more. But this has been four straight games that I've taken the more on the goals, and I've had some success. Also, yesterday, this win right here was my 50th win on Prize Picks. My now total money won on Prize Picks is now over $1,000. I think it was like $1,075 I've won on Prize Picks.
We are still building our lineup here.
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think I should do tonight? Do you want to go more or less on Jalen?
I don't know.
Somebody vote. Can we get some votes right now? more or less Jalen Brunson. And if you don't know, use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup over on America's #1 sports pick app. That it's Prize Picks, where it feels good to be right. What are y'all thinking? More or less 27.5 for Jalen Brunson. He had the more last game, but as you can see, there's a trend.
He's had 15 and 20. That's really far off from 27.5.
I kind of want to go the less.
I kind of want to go the less as well.
He's been inefficient. He has been.
Yeah.
Now, when they've needed him to get some big shots, he's
a lot of
done it.
more, though.
I mean, the hardest part about when I ask questions like this to myself, this kind of reminds me of, like, obviously like fantasy football.
Yeah.
When I watch a primetime game, I love having one of my players in that primetime game because the entire time you're rooting.
Right.
You're cheering. You're having a good time. When I take the less, I often find myself being like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh,
Well,
no.
I mean, what we got going on here, Josh Hart, he had a crazy game last game.
Yep.
I don't think that's going to happen again.
Okay.
So that's why I'm going the less on his points, rebounds, and assists.
He's a rebounding machine, but he made a few clutch threes last game.
I don't think that's going to happen again.
I don't disagree with you,
Yeah.
but being at home.
But at the same time, Stephon Castle,
that's
last 9 games. Got to be good.
Last 9 games.
Pretty sure last 9 games.
Okay, I was going to say, I know it's like 6 or 7 I've taken it right, but 9 straight, more, 11.5. Okay, love it.
And then Victor Wembanyama.
It's the Taco
Got
Tuesday.
the taco discount.
Though, sometimes I get nervous about the tacos.
Yep.
What's, hang on. What is this? Ooh, actually, Prize Picks, they have a brand. Oh, dude, I might make a whole new lineup.
Uh-oh.
I might make an entirely new lineup. So they actually just launched. Oh, wait, this is some Alex Pierce news. I know we were very high on him.
Alex or Alec?
Alec Pierce?
Oh.
I think I just saw. Wow. All right. So the best deal right now on Prize Picks, I'm looking at it. I don't follow soccer, World Cup soccer.
Soccer.
But right now they have Cesar Montes.
Mm-hmm.
Passes attempted.
Oh.
At 0.5.
Oh. I think he's going to pass.
Well, the number that they have crossed out is 70.5.
Oh.
So that would be like.
That's a lot of passes.
So I guess in my mind, like when I see like, oh, Jalen Brunson gets 0.5 points, I'm like, oh, like that's one that I'm taking every single day of the week, twice again on Sunday.
Yep.
I'll say this: if you don't want to go with the Taco Tuesday for Victor Wembanyama, I think.
I love how it's Taco Tuesday on Wednesday.
Yeah. I
Today's
didn't even
Wednesday.
think about that.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't even think about that.
Taco Wednesday.
So, yeah, the lineup that I'm looking at right now.
And where can they see this lineup?
On Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick app.
But how can they see yours?
Oh, you guys can actually follow me at Mitchell Renz 365. So here's the one I was just telling y'all about, which now that I realize I got a green screen, so those black dots.
Yep.
That's green. Passes attempted. It's
Cool.
funny. I find myself, I do root for USA for the World Cup. I do, but sorry. I do root for USA, but at the same time, I feel like I root for the USA women's more than I root for the men's.
Oh, the women's is fun to watch.
But if you play soccer, don't get mad at me. I feel like the best athletes in America, male, don't play soccer. I do feel like the best athletes do end up playing for women's. Obviously, there's other sports involved.
I was going to say I would push back with MMA and UFC.
For what?
Like best athlete. I feel like MMA and UFC, women's and men's, they're just insane athletes.
I guess I'm saying like it's different. Like again, I want to be able to watch.
Because then like long distance running too.
But I'm saying like I want to watch America win.
Yeah.
Men. Like I'm rooting for Mexico. I'm not
Right.
gonna lie to you. I mean, my wife, she's from Mexico. Their family's from Mexico City, so it's probably where I'm gonna be rooting for. All right, Alec Pierce, fresh off his 4-year, $100 million contract extension, might be sidelined well into training camp due to his off-season left ankle surgery.
Huh.
I'll tell you this right now. I know I was very high on Alec Pierce. He was the number one receiver I wanted the Raiders to sign this offseason. Hearing that his ankle surgery might go into training camp, obviously I would have liked the deal to happen. Still would have been a lot of money for $114 million. But you're talking about that would have been him learning a brand new offense, coming in a new scheme with a brand new quarterback, new head coach that we paid a lot of money to. Not being able to have that guy on the field, there's often times where you go back and you think, what if? I think if we would have been getting some news around all this Alec Pierce stuff, I think that there would have been a much larger concern. And I'm kind of bringing that up because of what we just heard from Jalen Nailor. And like this wide receiver room shows up every single day and they're ready to go. Booty could still be a sneaky move, from my opinion. Potentially.
Sneaky booty?
Hey, sneaky booty. All right, y'all. I don't see any more questions. I don't see any more super chats. So here's what's going to happen. Reminder, the MVP of today's show, you're going to get a golden ticket, which right now the MVP of the program is Brandon Vivo with 2,825 XP. That's what it's telling me. If you want to get in for our duck race, it is a 10, not 20, $10 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. The last time that I checked, the winner would be going home with $75. I do plan on being at work tomorrow, despite it being my off day. If Clint Kubiak is planning on speaking to the media, well, then I will be live here for the presser. However, it was also reported today that there will not be any media at Raiders training camp tomorrow, or Raiders minicamp tomorrow. I know, I'm like kind of wondering why. Like, I wonder if, because today it was reported that a lot of the veterans had off. I wonder because the Raiders have had such solid participation, even in like April, May, and June, for non-voluntary things. If the Raiders said, okay, we're going to give you a day off from training camp because of how well you guys have done it. And the same breath, you can call me whatever you want, I don't think that the Raiders, a team that has not done a lot of winning, should be taking any days off. It's just one practice day. Like, to me, again, the team knows, and I want Kubiak, and I trust Kubiak, but at the same breath, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it'd be a bad idea for them to go out there. Call me. Again, maybe that's just an old school boomer mentality of me, but again, it's a lot of the reports have been really good this offseason, but at the same time, I don't know, taking days off, being the worst team in the NFL last season. I know, new regime. I got you. Richard Black, I got you in. Simon T.G., Raiders straight, I got you in. Right now, we are at 10 to win, $100 here on the program. 10 to win, $100 on the program. We've sucked. Yep, let's do it. We've sucked for a decade, from my opinion. Honestly, my opinion, we've at least gone to the playoffs twice in the last decade.
I wasn't looking at the chat when you were reading that, so I thought you were saying, in your opinion, we sucked for a decade.
Oh.
But you said, my opinion, we sucked for a decade.
Oh, that's funny.
I was like, is that you talking?
Remember I said it first, Mitch. I'm naming Tokyo Toe 38 Special. From Gerald. I mean, bro's got so many nicknames. The Tokyo Toe, Special K, so many different nicknames.
Do you want to take a guess at what the race is?
Oh, man. I want to take a guess what the race is. Since I got a flight tomorrow, planes.
No.
It's basically the same thing. It looks like a gerbil race.
It's a hamster race.
A hamster race?
Shuffle.
What could go wrong? 3! Oh, wait. Hang on.
Oh.
Sorry. I need you to add one more person here. Looks like it's the MVP of the show. So
No problem. Yeah, we got to get them in.
Brandon B.
Brandon B?
Brandon B. You in. Brandon B. He goes, my bad. Brandon, you're good, bro.
I always think it's so funny when, we'll do it for like, that was I'm not ragging on Brandon B, but I'm talking about like either during the season or like when we have like a big duck race and we're like, all right, last call. We do the last call for like 10 minutes, and then right before we start it, it's like, dude, you didn't get mine in. It's like, you put it right before. You had 10 minutes. What are we doing?
Oh, there's the times where, like, I'll get a message like, hey, Mitch, I noticed I wasn't in the duck race today. And then I'll look at my Venmo, and it'll come in, like, an hour after we were done being live.
Oh.
And I'm like, how's that possible? Like, but I just don't think people click live. It's all good. It's all good. My phone's actually still loading right now. I don't know what on God's earth it's doing, but I'll be honest, I don't know if anybody else has gotten in. I just know Brandon has. I just have. All right, let me try to refresh here. I just got a swirl of death. I got a swirl going on.
Huh?
My Venmo, it just won't load.
Oh, no.
All right. I do actually have, of course, a few more people that have decided to get in.
That's fine.
All right, Carlos Comedy, I got you.
When you get the swirl death, that's a good excuse.
I was like, bro, I don't know what's going on here. I got Carlos Comedy, and then I also ended up getting, I saw one more, but it legit won't load. Stephen Ford also is in. All right. We are all caught up. We're ready to rock and roll. Winner is going to go home with $115. Winner is going to go home with $115. I've given you enough time. Just make sure when you switch, it's the gerbils and not your screen. Yep. Cool.
Oh, I'm not ready to do
No,
that
you're
yet.
good. I know sometimes we just send it over. Please, please, please.
We ready?
I think
Shuffle.
I'm ready
Shuffle.
to rock.
Shuffle.
Winner's going home with $115. 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. And
Oh, faster than I thought.
this is pretty quick freaking gerbils, man. We got some quick gerbils, man.
I love Javier said, Mitch and Reed, you should come to York, Pennsylvania because we have a good high school football stadium. It's called Small Athletic Field in downtown York, Pennsylvania. That'd be funny. Like, oh, where are you going? York, Pennsylvania. Oh, cool. What are you going there for? High school football stadium.
I mean, I almost went to York. So York was actually, I was talking about like baseball tryout things that I did.
Yeah.
First one I actually ever got invited to was at York College. I had family that lives
Sounds
right
cool.
next to York. Good old York. I went to York.
10
and then
seconds left.
Actually, the other one I went to was in Dallas, Pennsylvania, at Misericordia University.
3.
Stephen Ford is running away with it.
He's scurrying away with it.
I mean, dude, Stephen Ford just put that into a whole nother gear. Shout out to Stephen. Actually, was the last person to get in. So
That's hilarious. I shuffled 3 times.
I was going to say, man, we gave you the chance. Congrats to Stephen Ford. Stephen, if you could please confirm that you just received $115, that would be much appreciated.
Last super chat.
Much appreciated, Mr. Ford. Hollywood, have you heard anything about Thornton? He seems like the forgotten man. Honestly, I have not. I have reached out to Dante Thornton Jr., and I have reached out to Dante Thornton's agent, and I have not heard anything back from both of those guys. In terms of, like, the latest thing that we've heard, we do know that Dante was participating and practicing in a red jersey during OTAs, but because of a guy like Shedrick Jackson, right, he's been doing a hell of a job, and some people are probably going to get mad at me, but I'm probably going to put Dante Thornton Jr. as a minicamp loser, not because of Dante. I really haven't heard anything about Dante, and a lot of times if you're not hearing anything, not that they're doing bad, but this is like the time of the offseason where a lot of the good is talked about. And for Shedrick Jackson to be the clear winner between those two from minicamp so far, I think that should worry Dante Thornton a little bit. I get he was drafted in the 4th round. I know the coaching staff continues to say all the right things about him, but if you're looking at keeping 6 wide receivers on the team, I have a hard time believing that Dante Thornton Jr. can be that wide receiver 6 because he offers you nothing really in terms of special teams. He's not a good blocker. And if I'm going to keep that bottom of the roster guy, I need to know that he can be a good blocker and I can use him on special teams. And unfortunately, that's just not really Dante Thornton Jr.'s part of the game. Like, they wanted to bring him in. They wanted him to be a field stretcher. And not that he can't be a field stretcher. He's got elite speed. He's an incredible athlete. It's just being able to get off the line of scrimmage. And that's really where he's struggled throughout his entire NFL career so far. It's been a short one, but I'm hoping that it can be a good one. All right, y'all. Wasn't Dante working this offseason? I mean, I hope that they work every offseason. You know what I mean? Like, it's your job. Like, it's your job to show up and be ready to go. And I know that Dante's a hard worker. It's just sometimes when you're not ready for the physicality of that next level, you end up looking like Dante Thornton Jr. the way that he looked last season. But again, he was a project player. And, Chip Kelly, this Raiders offense, was not the right pieces to be able to bring in a guy like Dante. So I hope that the Raiders can make it work with him because I do think if you're able to connect the dots, he's going to be a special player in the NFL. It's just, can you get those dots connected? All right, y'all, I'm getting ready to hop on out of here today. Shout out to all y'all that pulled up here in the building. Special shout out to today's MVP. It looks like it's Brandon Vivo. So as soon as the show ends, if you're number 1 in XP, Brandon, I'm going to give you a golden ticket to get in our fantasy football league. If anybody passes Brandon in the next 60 seconds or so, well then, hey, I'll give you a golden ticket. But big shout out to, Isaac Hernandez, Excavator, Brandon Vivo. You guys are our top 3 for our XPs. But my live schedule, just so all of y'all know, I am off tomorrow, but I got a commitment to all of y'all, and I hope that you know that I'm going to give 110%. My flight's a little bit later than I actually thought it was. So if Kubiak is at a presser tomorrow and it's live and everybody can see it, I will be here doing that presser. Then I'm going to be gone for a few days doing a wedding, so that's why there's no happy hour or Madden simulations this week. The next time you probably will see me live after this week will be on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, like I always do. And then I did plan on going live on Thursday. It's going to be our Madden simulation up against the Jets. And then on Friday, 2 live shows. We got first the game against the 49ers, and then we have we got happy hour on June 19th. It should also be mentioned that if the Stanley Cup goes to 7 games, I plan on being live for Game 7 between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Carolina Hurricane. That game would be on Wednesday, June 17th. So you guys might get a lot more of me, a lot more live. So if you would just want to take a screenshot of this, put it in your calendar to know when I will be here, when I won't be here. I hope that you guys all understand one of my best friends is getting married back home. And I'm really honestly excited to be able to see my mom, see my dad. It's a short trip. It's like 60 hours, but anytime you get to go to your hometown, it's always a good feeling. So shout out to all y'all that pulled up today. Appreciate Joe D. Camillus, Quay Walker, Jalen Nailor, and A.J. Cole, all for this Raiders presser. If you don't know the Raiders minicamp news that happened, I did put out a video while I was live, so please go check that out. If you got any questions, any other comments that you want for me, don't be afraid to hit me up on social media at MitchellRents365. So from me, from Reed, my entire Chat Sports team here, I will see you guys tomorrow for Clint Kubiak's live presser. I'm giving up my off day. Let's show up. Let's have some fun.